This is Casanovians. Another day, another live. With this one, I'm actually enabling the live chat. So usually I don't do this, but I thought I'll give the boys a chance. Like if you've actually got questions which you want to ask me, then ask me. But my only prerequisite is you make the questions which are actually going to change your life. So any pointless questions or stupid comments, I'm not even going to engage with them. So yeah, please make sure that if you are going to drop something into the chat, it's actually useful, not just for you, but for the rest of the people who are listening. So I've just received a message which I would go as far as to say that it's going to change the way that I interact with women, and it's going to change your relationships with women forever. So yeah, what I would suggest is stop what you're doing and listen to the message that I'm about to read you, because it's going to change your relationships with women forever if you actually understand the nuances of what's being said. So it's going to annihilate your approach anxiety and make approaching women feel as effortless as drinking water. Like, this is high level, top class information. So yeah, whatever you're doing right now, stop. Drop this video a like as well. I'm going to take a sip of water while you do that because I want to build some anticipation, because this shit is fucking fire. So yeah, drop the stream a like because this is some serious sauce. Cool. So essentially this is high level exclusive information which has been provided by one of our members inside my private network, the Entourage, okay? So let me read out the message which I've received, and yeah, you're gonna like this. So, okay, problem. In the last 2 weeks of my 6-week immersion out here, I realized that I was getting worse approach anxiety and more stressed than I had been at the start, despite being more and more experienced. So this is one of our members who is currently in a foreign country, and he's having his own 6-week immersion experience where he's going hard with this skill set for 6 weeks so he can become one of the best in the world at it. So he's got worse approach anxiety and more stress than he had at the start, despite becoming more and more experienced. I had to be missing something. That doesn't happen with other skills. I sat out and thought about why this was and realized, and this is really important, when you approach in this stressed, no pain, no gain way, you begin to associate women with stress and challenge rather than beauty, relaxation, and ease. Your brain will make that assumption, and regardless of what you cognitively believe, it will fire up the stress response to a potential threat. Do you understand so far? I know that was what was happening to me, because after week 6, I remember seeing a girl in the street when I wasn't approaching, and instead of admiring or ignoring her, I felt a sudden surge of adrenaline and stress. Okay, so that's the first part. So his theory in regards to why this was happening, I then thought back to times when I hadn't felt even the slightest stress at all with women, and there are plenty of approaches I did in clubs and even in my teens where I truly felt nothing, just kind of amusement. I then thought about whether anyone else I had ever seen approach in a genuinely chilled way, not fake chill where you're pretending, but genuinely didn't care. The answer was yes. I've seen tons of guys do that. With that information, I concluded that this stress response is simply a nervous system reaction to poor beliefs and culture and cannot be evolved into our hardware. I'm certain that approach is not biological suicide, and approach anxiety is not universal nor static. Plenty of guys literally never experience it, and even in my own life, I've had plenty of times when it wasn't there. It's a reaction and can be reprogrammed. Boys, this is some serious sauce right here. So yeah, please drop this stream a like if you're appreciating it. Solution. The solution to all of this. The focus for the last 2 weeks was to do the following 2 things. Remove any notion of approach being difficult, right? This is the first point. Remove any notion of approaching being difficult. Let go of the idea of it being a challenge. It is just a conversation. They're just chicks. Bro, that this one sentence alone is going to crush so many of your self-limiting beliefs, and it's going to simplify the entire seduction process. Let me just read this one more time so it actually sticks. Remove any notion of approach being difficult. Let go of the idea of it being a challenge. It's just a conversation. They're just chicks. I love this because I think we're all guilty of massively over magnifying this whole thing, and we've almost been brainwashed into believing that approaching is more difficult than it actually is. Yeah, you're just gonna go over to someone and say something, but I think with the amount of content which is available on the internet, like all the videos out there which are dedicated to how to alleviate your approach, like approach anxiety is not real, right? It doesn't exist. It only exists in your mind. And I love the way that he said the whole like approach is biological suicide, because what he's doing here, he's actually challenging something that I used to believe. And this is what I love about my network. I give all of the guys in my network full permission to challenge the things that I say. You know, I'm not sat here in my ivory tower being like, right, I've figured it all out. I've got a YouTube channel. Everyone else is wrong. No, by going out and having this 6-week immersion, he's been able to relay practical knowledge back to us, which I'm now relaying to you. And the conclusion is, stop seeing approaching as difficult, right? Difficulty only exists in our mind. If you say to yourself, approaching girls is difficult, it becomes difficult. If you say to yourself, approaching girls is easy, I can approach any girl that I want, and then you actually mix that with action. So like when you're just saying something like, oh yeah, that's easy, I can do, like you become lighter, right? Your energy becomes lighter. Like evidence has got the loudest voice, but if you're going out there and you're just like, oh, this is so difficult, like approaching girls is so hard, then that's the reality that you will realize. But the difficulty, you can decrease the difficulty like this guy has done by just simply saying to himself, approaching girls is easy. Approaching girls is easy. And then you go talk to girls and remembering, as he says, they're just chicks. And the second way that he helped essentially annihilate his approach anxiety, get into this chill flow state, is using visualization and nervous system programming techniques I learned whilst I had an injury a few years ago to get myself into an optimal state. I wanted to feel relaxed and seductive, so I used some specific techniques to program that and then went out. Results. Okay, so here's the actual results of what he found. I found as soon as I started to use one particular technique, I had 70% less approach anxiety and 80% less anxiety in the actual interaction. I've been wiring my system more and more towards relaxation, and the result is that's how I feel talking to women the previous 5 days. I did a couple of approaches on Tuesday in which I literally felt as chill as if I was picking up a glass of water. That's beautiful. I did a couple of approaches on Tuesday where I literally felt as chill as if I was picking up a glass of water. That's like sensei seduction level. That was a first for me. This is concrete proof that it's possible to approach like that on your very first approach. I love this. This is shattering so many I hope you're actually understanding the value of what I'm portraying here. Like everything, you need to rewind this and listen back to it a couple of times, I think, to actually allow it to sink in. But like what he's giving us here is permission to make approaching girls become as natural as drinking water, as easy as picking up boys. Like this is genuinely going to change your life. Like the thing is as well, this is going to go over so many people's heads, and then they're just going to comment, what's the best open? How do I get rid of my approach? Like this is it right here. Like I'm literally dropping the secret sauce for alleviating all of your issues when it comes to relationships with the feminine. The biggest plus was that by minimizing the significance of the approach, this is so good. The biggest plus was by minimizing the significance of the approach, using visualization and a specific technique to draw up positive emotions, I was able to open more easily. I also felt way more relaxed and enjoyable in the interactions. This is a total 180 from the stressful, no pain, no gain style approaches that I was doing at the start of my immersion. The beauty of this is that it makes approaching way more sustainable and way more enjoyable. Damn, that's superb. Yeah, boys, just drop this video a like, because that is, no one else is going to give you this information. Like, nobody else online is going to give you this information, because most guys online have never even been out, never even been out into the field, never even like spoke to any girls. They just make talking head videos in their room. They have no evidence of them actually going out into the field. Like, this is so good. Like, this one message alone will change your relationships with women. So I would advise you to just play this back a couple of times. By the way, with these live streams that we're doing, let me know what would be your preferred duration for the lives. Like, do you boys like the 30-minute lives? Do you boys like the 60-minute lives? Do you want like 90-minute lives, 2-hour lives? Like, really, I can talk forever. So yeah, I'd be interested to know though, like, what would be your preferred length of the live? In terms of me being able to speak forever, I'm going to give you this as well as like an added bonus, if you will. So I had a message yesterday on Instagram, and a guy reached out to me and he asked how can he stop running out of things to say to girls. So I'm going to give you boys this like as an added bonus. Like, this is like the live, like this bit here, but I just want to give you a shit ton of fucking value. So I'm gonna relay to you how I never run out of things to say to girls, like how essentially you can just keep talking to girls forever and ever and ever. But yeah, boys, like this message, it's so valuable. Just let me just read this final paragraph, because this is just great. I found as soon as I started to use one particular technique, I had 70% less approach anxiety and 80% less anxiety in the interaction. So he's basically talking about relaxation techniques, like getting himself into a chilled state, making sure he's controlling his breathing, visualizing a brilliant interaction as well. Like, if you can visualize it, if you can imagine it, then you can become it. So just actually viewing your interactions with women and experiencing success in advance by telling yourself this is going to be fun, right? Like, it's either going to go really well or you've got a funny story. Both of those mindsets, both of those situations, they're enjoyable, right? It's like most guys are just going out, ruminating in their own egoic self-absorption, experiencing failure in advance, getting more and more stuck in the head, rather than focusing on what could go really well here. Right? Like what could go really well? Like, I could meet the girl of my dreams. I could have a cosmic connection with an amazing girl, with this wife-worthy woman, and we can go and do life together. But instead, we're just catastrophizing, right? We're crushingly cruel commentators of ourselves. Oh, why would she ever talk to me? Like, going out, must do 10 approaches. Like, this is going to be hard. No pain, no gain. No, that is the wrong way to play the game. The way we need to be playing the game is, this is going to be so much fun. Like, I can't wait to go out and have these experiences. Like, you just start to feel lighter, especially when you start telling yourself, yeah, approaching girls is easy. I can do that. I'm the best in the world. Like, when you actually feed yourself with this positive reinforcement, that's a reality that you start to realize. So I've been wiring my system more and more towards relaxation. And the result is that's how I feel when talking to women the last 5 days. I did a couple of approaches on Tuesday where I literally felt as chill as if I was picking up a glass of water. That was a first for me. This is concrete proof that it's possible to approach like that on your very first approach. So like the whole like first one's the worst one. No, it doesn't have to be. Like, if you are in that hyper relaxed state where you're telling yourself that speaking to women is as effortless as drinking water, like approaching people is as easy as taking a piss, and you're going in there with that like almost like it's like sensei relaxed type of vibe. You're grounded, you're breathing, you're aware of everything. It becomes easy. The biggest plus was that by minimizing the significance of the approach, I love that, like minimizing the significance of the approach, right? She's just a girl. The worst she can say is no thank you, right? Minimizing the significance of the approach. Like this one statement alone will change the course of your relationships with the feminine. Like, minimizing the significance of the approach. Yeah, like most guys think if a girl is like harsh or frosty, then he's almost like confined to hell. It's like, no, she's just a girl. The worst she can say is no, right? The more you open, the more you close. Just keep putting invitations out there into the world. It's either going to go well or you've got a funny story. But yeah, the biggest plus was that by minimizing the significance of the approach, using visualization and a specific technique to direct positive emotions, I was able to open more easily. I also felt way more relaxed, enjoyable in the interactions. So total 180 from the stressful, no pain, no gain style approaches that I was doing at the start of my immersion. The beauty of this is that it makes approaching way more sustainable and way more enjoyable. Boys, I love that. I love that. Like, drop this stream a like, because I've got way more stuff to share with you boys. But like, yeah, I think if you actually replay this stream back and you digest the things that we've shared, like, you're gonna go out there the next time that you go out, you're gonna go out a new man, right? You're gonna have a new positive aura about you. I think that's truly beautiful. Like, this should be fun, right? Like, we should enjoy being able to go out there and speak to girls that we like. And I think this message that I've received, it opens up the possibility of doing that. And yeah, look, we have revelations like this on a daily basis inside the Entourage, right? It's impossible for me to share them all with you unless you're part of the network. So yeah, if you're serious about leveling up and getting access to this information, there's a link below, click it, apply to work with us. In terms of locations I'm going to be going to this year, so obviously I'm in Cyprus right now, London in February, Bangkok in March, and then Buenos Aires in April. If any of those locations appeal to you, then yeah, just click the link below, book in a free 30-minute consultation call. We'll see if you're the right fit for the network. We had our newest member join this week. We've got another member joining like start of Feb. So yeah, it's all kicking off, bro. These are sort of realizations that we have. This is the network that you need to be part of. Like, if you're going out there, you're trying to be the perpetual lone wolf, just, women, scary, like you're fucked. You're not going to get anywhere. Like, it's almost impossible to do all of this on your own. And as I've explained to you before, the Entourage is not just a day game network, right? It's a network for radically ambitious Renaissance warriors who want to level up their life across the board. Yeah, get more girls, make more money, live a life free from bullshit. It's not just for guys who are beginners either. Like, everybody, whether you consider yourself a seasoned player or you have just gotten started, or maybe you've been out the game for a while, you've gotten a little bit rusty and you're looking for community, you're looking for network, you're looking for like-minded guys who actually get it, then the Entourage is where it's at. Link below, click it, book in a call. And let's just get this year fucking started. We're only in January, and already this year is like the best year of my life. Why? Because I'm living my dream, because I'm having these sort of conversations, I'm doing these daily lives, I'm showing up every day, I'm waking up, like, sunshine outside, sunbathing on my balcony, going to the gym this morning. Like, life is just fucking great. Beautiful. But yeah, let's talk about how to never run out of things to say, because I think this is something that, all right, I think most people will struggle with this at some point, not just in the cold approach career, but their life game career. Maybe you have to give a presentation at work, or maybe you're speaking to the woman behind the counter at Chick-fil-A and you really want to keep talking. Whatever it is, like, just I'm gonna basically give you my formula for never running out of things to say, so you can basically talk forever. Let me see if there's any good questions. Time for some cold approach. It also stems from the anxiety of performing well. You don't want to mess it up. It also stems from the anxiety of performing well during the action. You don't want to focus on the potential positive. Struggling financially, bro. Working on it as I live in a village. Need to get out to a place so I can live every day. Yeah, look, I mean, if you're struggling financially, then that should be the first place that you start. Like, you never want to, sorry, that's not the best. Yeah, if you're struggling financially, like, look, I've been in that position myself where I've been completely broke. You can go back onto my oldest videos on YouTube where I'm living in that grotty apartment in Central Leeds. I'm on £24.82 of universal credit. Like, getting your money up, living a fulfilling life, like, they go hand in hand, right? Like, there's no, like, people are going to get pissed off about this, but there's no reason why you should be broke in the modern world. Like, we live in an age of opportunity. You've got the internet. You can create a personal brand. If you've got a phone and you've got energy and you're healthy, bro, you can take this shit to the moon, right? And it's like, you just need to think bigger as well. Like, when was the last time you had empire visions about how I can become a multi-millionaire? When was the last time you had a conversation with somebody, whether it was over the phone or in person, about how you can conquer the entire world? Like, when was the last time you said to yourself, how can I start pulling Victoria's Secret models? When was the last time you asked yourself, how can I become the most socially magnetic man on the planet? Like, most people are just playing it too small, right? Like, they're just asking stupid questions like, oh, what's the best way to approach? It's like, bro, like, think bigger, right? If there's one thing you take away from this stream and everything that I say, is to think bigger. Like, you're thinking so small, yeah? It's like, oh, how can I make like £500 online? Like, fuck making £500. Like, how can you make 50 grand in a day? Fuck's sake, like, get on it, right? Eternity's a long time. We're too long dead. Like, stop playing it small. Fuck's sake. All right, how to never run out of things to say. Okay, so this is my personal blueprint. You can basically be talking to somebody forever. And you can see it on these live streams as well. I can go for hours on these streams. Like, definitely tell me how long you actually want me to talk to you for, because I can go for it. But how to never run out of things to say to a girl. So first of all, state transparency, okay? State transparency is the best thing that I can give you to never run out of things to say. What does that mean? It means you say what you feel rather than what you ought to say, right? If your mind goes blank, that becomes the conversation, right? Most guys, like there's a comment there about wanting to perform for the girl so the interaction goes good. Fuck all that shit. Like, fuck that shit. You're in your head thinking, how can I make this conversation good for the girl? She doesn't give a fuck. She's not thinking, how can I make this conversation good for him? She's just there, having a good time. That's what you need to think as well, right? Like, if your mind does go blank, you just make a joke out of it, right? Like, you can see me practicing state transparency in a lot of my conversations, right? I'm just like, oh, yeah, like I was going to say something to you there, but my mind's gone blank. You distracted me. Bad girl. You're going to have to like give me some things, otherwise it's going to get awkward. We're going to have to start talking about our family. Oh, great. I've just thought of something right now. Like, state transparency. Like, if you're shitting yourself, if you've got butterflies in your belly, if you've run out of things to say, announce it. Own it, right? And then because when you're able to be transparent with your state, it humanizes your interactions, right? You're not going out like some loser pickup robot who's scared of being emotionally brave, right? Like, this is basically why, for me, I've never resonated with any like pickup content, because all pickup content is it tries to teach you how not to be real, like how not to be authentic. It's like it tries to armor you with all these tricks and lines and techniques, when really all you need to be able to do is have the emotional bravery to be real. Yeah, oh, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I just shit myself. Just bring it into the conversation. If you say it in a way which projects power rather than pessimism, like, people will go along with it. Like, you can basically say anything that you want with the right delivery and the right amount of confidence. You can basically get away with anything. And this is proven to you in the interactions that I have. Like, if you look at the conversations, like all of the infield, there's like over 400 infields available on my YouTube channel. Like, I'm just saying what I want, right? I'm just amusing myself in the conversation. Again, worst case scenario, it's a funny story, yeah? So yeah, just practicing state transparency. A lot of guys, and I get it, you're scared that if you run out of things to say, then there's going to be a silence, yeah? You're worried about the silence. You're scared about the silence. But why are you scared about the silence, right? Like, one of my mantras is, let the silence do the work, right? Like, and this is really important. Like, if you can just train yourself to, first of all, speak slower, okay? Because if you speak slower, you then give yourself more time to think. When you've got more time to think, ideas and conversation topics, they'll naturally come to you. If you're like 100 miles an hour, it's difficult to think of things to say, or your energy is very erratic and it's difficult to connect with people. So just training yourself to talk slower and marinate in the moment, yeah? Let the silence do the work. So if you just ask a girl, like, oh, where are you from? And she says, I'm from Guatemala. You don't need to respond immediately, yeah? You can just look at her for a little while, and then you can do something called parroting, where you basically just repeat the information back to her. I do this so often in conversations. I parrot, and parroting is really useful because it gives you more time to think. It shows that you're actually listening. And if you do it in the right way, it can create a lot of sexual tension, right? So even just something as basic, like, where are you from? Oh, I would say, like, right, where are you from? And she's like, Guatemala. And like, I would just look at her for a little while. I'd be like, Guatemala. Wait, is it true what they say about girls from Guatemala? And she's like, what did they say? I'm like, wait, you don't know? It doesn't matter. So, and then she's like, why don't I tell me what it is? But like, just actually understanding the power of the pause, yeah? Just dropping these pauses into your conversation Rather than just be like, oh, Guatemala, yeah, amazing, I love Guatemala. Yeah, my friend was thinking about going to Guatemala. I think they've got really nice coffee in Guatemala. Yeah, have you ever been to Guatemala? Oh, no, you're from Guatemala. Like, it's just like, it's just too erratic, right? Because you're scared, and I get it. But one of the best exercises that I would love you to start doing is recording the audio of your conversations, because every single guy I've ever worked with, no exceptions, has always spoke faster than he actually realized. Yeah? And only when you get a visual or an audio representation of yourself does it actually hit. Yeah, if I'm working with a guy one-on-one and he's recorded the audio of his conversation and we listen to it back in a cafe, he's like, oh my God, I sound like such a knob. Like I'm speaking too fast. I'm not even giving the girl long enough to answer. So yeah, let the silence do the work. Understand the power of parroting. Like, it doesn't mean that you actually become a parrot and you just keep repeating back everything that people say, but it's a really effective way of creating more tension, giving yourself more time to think, and also show that you're actually listening as well. But yeah, just try it out. The next time that you're having a conversation, just literally just ask a girl, where are you from? She said, I'm from Manchester. Manchester? Wait, are you like one of those Manchester girls? Just bringing stuff in like that, it's fun. But yeah, just marinate in the moment more. The other way, so I'm just gonna take a drink. I think Elon Musk has a nice speed of speech. It sounds sophisticated. I like Elon. Elon's great, man. I'd love to do a day game session with Elon. I don't know if he'd be down for it, but we could go around in a Tesla. So the other way, so another way that I never run out of things to say is I call these mind blank moves, okay? So maybe you're watching this stream and the idea of being transparent with your state doesn't appeal to you because maybe you've just not got to that level yet. Maybe you just feel very awkward about saying to a girl, I've run out of things to say. So here's something like super practical. A mind blank move essentially is something you can bring into any conversation. It's almost just like a fail safe and it'll create more conversation. So really simple. Utilize the topic of you, right? Utilize the topic of you. So let's say, for example, I went to a salsa class last Thursday, right? Let's just say I went to a salsa class last Thursday. I'm speaking with a girl who I've just approached outside of, around Mayfair. And imagine my mind's gone blank, right? Imagine my mind's gone blank. We've been speaking for a couple of minutes. I can then bring in this mind blank move. And all that looks like really practically is I just say, I went to salsa last Thursday, right? But, and here's the secret sauce, right? You then bring her in to a story. So let me explain how it would all play out, right? So let's just say, to be honest, you don't even need to have gone to a salsa class. You can basically just say this. Like if you do have like severe anxiety right now and you just need something to say, just say this, right? Just say, yeah, I went to a salsa class last Thursday, and she's probably like, oh, amazing, I love salsa. Yeah, I have nachos with that. I went to a salsa class last Thursday, right? And then you bring in the phrase, I can imagine you, right? I can imagine you. I went to a salsa class last Thursday. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I can imagine you at salsa, like swinging your arms around like an albatross. Tell you what we could do actually is on our second date, we could go salsa together, but please don't show me up, right? So like you're taking something that you've done, then you're using the phrase, I can imagine you, and then you're creating this nonsensical narrative. Like I'm using something which I call play dating. So like imagining that initial interaction on the street, I'm playing it as if it's already the first date. I do this in so many interactions I have. I say, play your cards right, and you might get a second date out of this. Or yeah, on our second date we can go to salsa. It's like I talk about it more in my free online course. If you've not downloaded that course yet, it's called Conversation Killer. It basically gives you everything that I know about conversations, right? It's like over 4 hours of instructional video material, including never before seen in-field footage, so much stuff, like so much value packed into there, and it's all free, right? It's completely free. So I'll leave a link, if you've not downloaded it yet, I'll leave a link in the comments after this stream is finished, and then you can basically get all of my best work completely free. Like, that's great. But yeah, I can imagine you. So let's say you went rock climbing, or let's say you've just come back from Thailand. I can imagine you drinking buckets of booze on the beaches of Bangkok, right? Like, I can imagine you. I've just been rock climbing. I can imagine you abseiling down a wall. We could, on our second date, we could be like Spider-Man swinging from like all the rooftops together. Like, did you ever watch Tarzan as a kid? Yeah, great. You could be my Jane. I'm Tarzan. I don't eat meat, but hey, maybe I do. So it's like, and the beautiful thing about conversations, like as you just saw there, they don't need to make sense. Like I find the more abstract you can be, the more you can just like dumb yourself down and just be a little bit stupid. Like even just like looking at her for a little while and just laughing. And then just like, it's almost like taking it back to the playground when the two of you were kids and nothing had to make sense. It was just fun. Yeah, like I do think that a big part of this process is going from more of that logical guy to reconnecting with that child inside of us. Yeah, it's like Picasso said, it took him 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child. And it's not about becoming a comedian, but it is, for me, stripping back those layers of social conditioning that we all suffer with and giving yourself a little bit more permission to just have fun with it. Yeah, like actually smiling as well, like smiling your way through a conversation, smirking when you say things like, oh, you're one of those girls. What do you mean one of those girls? So you might say like, oh, I'm about to go shopping, or I'm about to go for a bottomless brunch with the girls. Oh, fuck's sake. You're one of those girls. What do you mean one of those girls? It's like, you just breaking rapport that way. Yeah, like disagreeing with what she says. That's another like super easy thing that anyone can do. Just start disagreeing with girls more. If she says like London's the best city on earth, or Tottenham are the best football team, or my favourite colour is grey and grey is the best colour because elephants are grey and I like elephants, then you can just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? How is grey the best colour? Like that just doesn't even make any sense. Like, and then, just challenge the things that she thinks. Like, if she's like, oh, yeah, London's the best city. It's like, well, you've clearly not travelled that much. Tell you what, it's fine. Like, when we start dating properly and you've got past the second date, I will open your eyes to the wonders of the world. First stop Grimsby, right? So just, and just learning through osmosis as well. Like, if you are somebody who struggles with this side of conversation, then for me, the best thing to do is spend time around people whose approach to life you want to emulate. Like, especially if you're based in London right now, like I could introduce you to so many characters. Like, we'll go to one of our favorite spots in London. We'll all sit around a table and you're just learning through osmosis. You are a spectator, this playful ping pong, and our approach to life rubs off on you, right? That's why I said it before. Like, a day with me is worth a year on your own, right? The people that I can introduce you to, the life that we live, it's so far beyond what you're currently experiencing that you probably can't even comprehend the value which is in store. But yeah, just finding people whose approach to life that you want to emulate. Don't allow admiration to become imitation, right? It's not about cloning people's approach to life or becoming a carbon copy. It's just taking different bits from everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, Kristian does this really well. This guy does this really well. This homeless guy, wow, he's so socially free. Like, just taking bits of everybody so you can create your most seductive character. But I just love the concept of life being like a video game, that we are just leveling ourselves up every single day. And yeah, it's just fun. Like, this kind of brings it holistic as well. Like, just remembering to take a breath, remembering that no one's out to get you. Like, you're just speaking to a girl. This should be a pleasurable pastime where everyone benefits from it. Like, leaving every girl better than you found her. It doesn't have to be this super stressful thing. Like, if you are one of those guys who it is that whole like no pain, no gain approach. It's like, that's not the way. That's the sort of approach that you have for the gym, right? It's not the sort of approach where you should be having a pleasurable pursuit of serenading senoritas, right? So yeah, just being more playful. But like, if you are more of a serious logical guy, then you can own that as well. Like, you can just lean more into that grounded approach. But yeah, look, I think every single person would benefit from just letting go a little bit more, remembering to laugh your way through life. Like, we're gonna be dead one day. Embrace your own mortality. Eternity's a long time, so yeah, don't die with your music still inside of you. What else have we got? I've got notes here to keep me on track. Said that. Yeah, I've put as the next point, in terms of never running out of things to talk about, I've put down here, to be interesting, right? To be interesting, be interesting. A lot of people say, to be interesting, you have to be interested. Yeah, in terms of placing all of the emphasis on the person that you're speaking to. I think this is okay if you're just starting, but it's easy to get into interview mode and keep asking the person you're speaking to like loads and loads of questions, like, who are you? Where are you from? What's your tax code? It's like, it gets a bit too much. So to be interesting. This is why I always say to you, learn day game, but don't become a day gamer. Right? Like, most guys who have this skill are fucking boring because all they do is go out and approach. Oh, need to go approach more girls today. Yeah, but what else are you doing in your life? Right? The reason why girls don't want to see you again is because you're boring. It's because you don't have excitement in your life beyond women. Right? So it's not about like, oh, I need to learn this skill set and like that's all I do. It's about becoming the most fuckable version of yourself who lives an interesting, dynamic lifestyle. And then when you're speaking with women, the sense of fulfillment that you're getting beyond the feminine, it oozes into your conversations, right? So like, really practical. Before I got involved with this, I was a magician. Right, that's like an atomic phrase I can just drop into any conversation. If I have run out of things to say, I just be like, yeah, I used to be a magician, right? It instigates curiosity. Yeah, like, but you can do anything. But yeah, I just come back from Thailand. Yeah, I went to salsa class. Yeah, I started rock climbing last weekend. I just bought my mum a house. Like, whatever it is, like if you're doing things outside of this skill set, then you can just drop these things in, and bro, you can get like 5 minutes of conversation from that. If I say, oh, I used to be a magician, then it's like the topic does the talking for you. Does that make sense? So like, really practical, start doing interesting things. You don't need to become a magician, but maybe you're interested in music. Maybe you've got, I don't know, a hobby that you like pursuing. Maybe you're a stamp collector. Maybe you like, maybe you really like vintage cars and you go to like vintage car fairs. You're like, yeah, like, because maybe you're like speaking with a girl and then like a really like old car drives past you and then you can like identify what that car is and be like, oh, that's so-and-so car. And she's like, how do you know that? And you're like, oh, something that I really enjoy doing is traveling around the country, looking at vintage cars. I want to get my own vintage car. Like that, do you know what I mean? So it's like, the more interesting things that you have, the more things you've got to bring into the conversation. Like, if you're not doing anything in your life apart from consuming day game content and going out to day game, like, you've got nothing to talk about, right? You're on a date with a girl, probably, mate, if you manage to get a date with a girl and all you do is day game, you're fucked. Because she's gonna be like, oh, what do you do with your life? And you're like, I kind of just like listen to like day game podcasts and day game and day game. Like, bro, like, come on, those days are over. Right, if you still consider yourself a day gamer or a pickup artist, bro, get the fuck off this channel. Like, it's like 20 years too late, man. You need an interesting life, right? You need an interesting, dynamic life, a lifestyle that you can invite women into. Yeah, and this is why abundance isn't always having an abundance of women. It's having an abundance of things to look forward to. And this makes, in my opinion, the process of day game much easier. If you've got an abundant lifestyle where you're finding fulfillment in many things, like for me, like, go to the gym, make a video, spend time with my guys, talk to my mum, solo travel across like fucking everywhere. Did like 20 countries last year. Actually making a difference to the lives of men. Like, all of this shit. It's like, if I get blown out from a girl, I'm like, oh well, I've got Thailand to look forward to. I've got a video to make. I've got time with my guys. Like, it becomes a lot more palatable. But if your sense of self-worth is just attached to your results from cold approach, and you're not exploring other things, like if your sense of fulfillment is attached to, right, I'm looking after myself, I'm eating well, I'm eating clean, I'm exercising, I'm creating my own personal brand, I'm building my business, I'm working a job that I absolutely adore, I'm living in a great place, I can go sunbathe on my balcony, like all these things, you've not only got things to talk about, but it makes the mental aspect of this more manageable. I really hope that makes sense, because that's really important. So basically, it's like Zamperion says, women want to be invited into an adventure. They don't want to be the adventure. All right. So if you've got fuck all going on in your life apart from day game, then you're fucked. Right. It's just plain and simple. That's why you're not getting results. That's why no girls want to see you again. It's because you're boring. It's because you've got nothing going on. It's because you're not finding fulfillment elsewhere. What else have I got? I've just written down here, talk about fun shit. Yeah, but that's true. Like, yeah, talk about fun shit that you're doing, or you're planning on doing, or you've done in the past. This is why something like Instagram is great, because Instagram is a perfect portfolio to project pre-selection. You know, it's one thing me saying I used to be a magician, but then if I exchange Instagrams with a girl, she can go over to my Instagram and then see me performing magic to people. You know, evidence has got the loudest voice. It's like I'm projecting my personality onto Instagram. Instagram then functions as a landing page, so she can see that I'm the guy who I say I am. Like I say, oh, I've been to 20 countries last year. Like, it's all documented on my highlight on my Instagram. So yeah, that's another thing that you can do as well. Like, that backs up your conversation. I was like, the profile can do the work on your behalf. So if you do completely run out of things to say, I think this is actually a good point to end on. Let's say you've been talking with a girl, you've been speaking for about 2.5 minutes, and your mind has gone completely blank and you've forgotten every single thing that I said in this stream, then just go for the close. That's it. Just go for the close. Like, rather than evacuating prematurely, rather than just running off like a scared boy because you're scared of being emotionally brave, because you're scared of just being like, yeah, run out of things to say right now, you know, drop us your number, then just go for the close, right? Like, it's more weird if you've gone over to a girl, you've delighted her with a direct compliment, 2.5 minutes have passed, and just because you've run out of things to say, you just walk away into the distance. Like, just go for the close. Like, even if you've only been speaking for 30 seconds and you are completely new to this, then just get into the habit of going for the close, because it's an additional compliment for the girl as well. Like, not only have you gone over, declared your desire in a non-needy way, but she now ticks enough of your boxes to warrant you going for the number, right? So it's like you're doing a disservice to her if you don't cap off that conversation with a close. I think that's a really powerful mindset. So it's like now opening and like, boys, like this live stream, this is genuinely life-changing. Like, I've basically obliterated your approach anxiety. I've taught you how to make interacting with women feel as effortless as drinking water. And now I've basically unlocked opening and closing for you. So like, in terms of the open, you're just going in there to have fun, leave her better than you found her, everyone wins, a rising tide lifts all the boats. And then in terms of the close, I don't know why, like a lot of guys just feel weird about closing. Like, it's like they can get good at opening, but then they just become good openers. Like, you know, practice closing as well. Like, it's more weird if you just walked off. But yeah, just frame the close as it's an extra compliment for her. Yeah, because it's like, oh, this guy must like me. He's gone for my number. Like, I've had so much feedback from girls where they've said to me, yeah, you know, even though you came over and, you know, like, you complimented me, really what, they wouldn't use the word, but well, maybe they would. Really what solidified it was actually when you went for my number. I was like, oh, he must like me, right? So like, this is what's going through their mind. You have to remember, like, they're insecure as well. Like, when they're in a conversation with you, they're up in their heads because they weren't expecting it. So it's like, by you going for the close, it gives her an extra compliment. It validates her, makes her feel good. And then that's how you leave on a high. Like, obviously, if she says, like, I've got a boyfriend, or you can tell, if you can tell, like, she's not interested, you could just say something like, well, listen, if you were available, I would definitely have taken your number and we would have gone out for a second date. You're still ending on a high. You don't just want to be like, as soon as she's like, oh, I've got a boyfriend, it's just like, shut down mode, bye. Because it just leaves on this weird vibe. Like, you want to give yourself a state boost as much as possible. So I think, yeah, just going for the close, it's an extra compliment for her, you know? So that's just nice. But yeah, the final thing that I'll say is, if you do want to take your conversation game to the next level, then get my free online course. It's completely free, right? I don't know if you've not got it yet. I don't know why you've not got it. It's a completely free course, over 4 hours of instructional video material, conversation killer. It basically teaches you how even the most introverted of guys can get started and get results from cold approach. So if you're listening to this live stream on repeat, there will be a link, the first link in the comments. It'll be like, get my entire course for free. Click that, and then you get access to the course. If you're watching live, you can just go over onto the homepage of my channel. The first link there will take you to the free course. So yeah, boys, I want you to go out there, treat the world like your personal playground. Don't die with your music still inside of you. Once that, gonna burp. Oh, powerful. But yeah, we get one shot at this life, and eternity is a long time. So let me just see if there's any. I'll just hold it here. Girls pick up on the sub-communication. Try to be silly and make comments. Try to be silly and make comments that don't make sense. Yes, good tips. Cars are a hobby. Yes. Don't be a day gamer. Makes sense. Cool. So happy that the message is being received well. Yeah, boys, if you're enjoying the streams, then drop this stream a like because there's been a shit ton of fucking value expressed, and I truly want you to implement it. And the sentiments that we've expressed during this stream, if you actually implement it and you understand the nuances of what's being said, it will change your relationships with women forever. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy this daily free value that's being provided. Like I say, I go much deeper in the free online course. So yeah, get a copy of that if you haven't done so already. And yeah, boys, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Love yous and stay sexy. Mwah!